Welcome to the Minority Minds podcast. It is your boy Felix Mack. We back for another week. Here with the man, Town Legend, aka Coach. You want to give yourself a little intro?
You already said it, boss.
And welcome to the Gentleman's Lounge. This is part two of our little series.
Wait, I thought it was a shop.
The shop, the Gentleman's Lounge. Uh, it's like a dual name. Dual
Yeah.
name. Yeah,
It's like the
YouTube actually
shop.
has both in it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So welcome those in the comments. Thanks for your patience. I appreciate y'all for hanging in there with us. Let's go around, do a little quick intro of the panel. Uh, we'll start with the homie Travis. Go ahead, quick. What's up? You want to drop a handle? Anything you want to say?
Travis, I'm not in these social media streets like that. My boy Tunde, we go way back. So
Felix.
my bad. My man Felix hit me up. He said, "Hey, you want to hop on this podcast?" And I said, "Yeah, I jump on." So I'm here.
And we appreciate it, Travis. Thank you so much. Shabazz.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Shabazz. I'm just out here giving the single black male perspective out here to the conversation. And yeah, so I'm just ready to get started. Let's do it.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Appreciate it. Definitely. Thank you for joining. Jig. We're gonna call you Jig. Jay.
Yeah, he's gonna call me Jay. Hi everybody. I just want to give a shout out to Travis for the dollar and a dream shirt, the hoodie. It's nice, good looking. Yeah, I know Travis.
All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. So yeah, I guess I don't know if y'all had a chance to tune into the podcast. I know some of y'all were in the comments last week to chime in on what the ladies were saying about the dating streets. It would only be right to give the guys a chance to say their piece and to give the other side of the story. So I guess first let's talk about. Tell me about what as a successful black male in the DMV area, what has dating been like for you? Because they often you often hear women say, "Oh, the dating pool has piss in it. Men are trash out here. Dating's trash out here." So, tell the viewers and us a little bit about your experience out in the dating streets. And Travis, we'll start with you.
Damn, you gonna start with me?
Yes, sir.
Well, it's been a while since I've been out here in these dating streets. Well, I'm qualified by that. So I'm 39. So I really wasn't out there in the date streets like that since my late 20s.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it's been a minute. So I'm retro. But even back then, there was a certain level of arrogance that was just out there. That's what I experienced. And it was kind of like the more of a gentleman you were, the worse your results were with women. So I could say that was probably the biggest shock to me, was you come correct, you come strong, you a legit dude, you working on yourself, you got your college degree, you got your career moving, and you're still regarded as that's not enough, and that's not how you put it forward. But it's almost like you a solid dude if you don't even if you don't put that forward out there as like that's how you present yourself. Because I never did. I just presented myself. I never really talked about what I did at work and stuff. It's almost like you didn't get any credibility with them until you started mentioning that stuff. But even then, that just felt weird to me. And so it was for me, in my experience at that time, you kind of had to just play the numbers game. It's a volume game. Straight up, it's a volume game. And if you find one that's really into you, that's what you spend your time with.
So
that's the sick.
So before we jump into Shabazz, you said something interesting. You said it's a volume game.
Yeah.
Anyone who's in sports or will probably understand what that means. But can you break it down for those who might not understand what that means?
Oh, it's professional baseball, right? Professional baseball, you're a pro, like you're a good hitter, and I'm not a baseball fan, but like if you're hitting 400, which is 40%, you're killing it. That's killing it. But that means, most of the time when you go out there and talk to somebody, you're gonna get rejected, and that's fine. And you just play the numbers game. You keep it moving. You don't waste time worried about that last swing. You work on the next one, and then and this is that, and that's a real immature mindset about it, because then it just evolves into like, you know what? I don't even care. I'm just gonna be myself. I'm not chasing. And honestly, that's when you really get the best results. Is when you just completely just back off and stop chasing.
So, would you say, because you bring up the interesting point also about being a nice guy, would you, one observation I think I've had about us nice guys, because I'm a so-called nice guy too.
Mhm.
Do you think that we show enough of our personality because we're too kind of reserved, and that kind of turns women off? Because I feel like those guys, the other type of guys that women are attracted to, usually show their personality. They're a little bit more aggressive with stuff, and that's usually what is attractive to them. So, do you think that a lot of so-called good guys' personality, guys' shortcomings are because they don't really show who they really are? They just kind of show their achievements.
I think that's a big piece of it. I think the other half of that is just being available. So you got to present almost like I said, that's why that mentality, in my experience, that's why that mentality of, you don't make them as high of a priority, or dating in general as high of a priority.
Mm-hmm.
You got stuff to do before she even showed up, or before you went on the date, or if she called you or whatever. Keep yourself busy working on yourself, and that'll come through. But I do think, like, when you're talking about being a nice guy, that's kind of like, I'll say it another way, like following the rules, the rules, doing what your mama said. Be gentlemen, be nice to these ladies out here. Nah, that just gets you used up.
Well,
You be
there's
out
a
here.
problem with that too, because there's a lot of people saying that they're nice guys that aren't nice guys.
Well, yeah, they nice, but you got to cut through there to get there to really. Everybody don't deserve it. Put it that way.
Right. Yeah.
But I feel like if you have to tell people that you're a nice guy, then you're not
Correct.
really a nice guy, because
You're not presenting that niceness.
Yeah, it should be something that you project, not something that you tell.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm a very nice guy. I'm joking.
I would say I'm a little bit different in that numbers game.
Sure.
You're talking sports. Yeah, I'm not a quantity guy. I'm a quality guy. So then in baseball, it's like, well, I mean, that's 40 out of 100. I'm like Dirk from the free throw line with it. So you got to shoot like 90%. I take quality.
See, this light skin rhetoric over here.
I mean, we talking, two different things in that sense. Well, but we're talking about this area in general, and I have dated outside of this area as well. But like, and he said in his 20s, and he's 39 now. And I could see that back in the 20s, everybody is the prize. It changes when you get into your 30s, because people start to, I don't want to say settle, but they know themselves a little bit better. Mm-hmm. They know what they want a little bit more. And a lot of guys, I find it, you want to have something established before you bring somebody else into the situation.
100%.
Well, you want to be serious.
Don't speak for all guys, because I think the more
for me, let me talk about myself. For me, earlier in my life, I always, when you're younger, I'm having married kids, 24 years old, bam, bam, knock that out.
Man, did we all say 24? Was that like a popular thing against all dudes? All dudes think they're going to have kids by 24?
Well, I mean, I think,
I didn't want to have kids at 24. I was terrified.
No. Oh, no. See, I was like family, kids, 24. That's it. I mean, that's what it is. And then you get 24, you're like, I'm still a kid. Right?
I got a lot to do. So much.
Yeah, I don't know. When you turn 30, you start to realize, wow, this is the beginning of life. That's how I felt. Absolutely. I started learning like things that I needed to learn, what I like, be better. I needed to establish a job, family, career, something like that. You get your career before you got your woman, in a sense, as opposed to we're going to get together and we're going to build together. That was never my thought process, I said I gotta have some, because you're supposed to be the provider. You know, that whole notion of being a provider, you have to have your own money. You don't need to have her doing something to. She's really coming along to add to your life that is already like built up. So yeah, I do see the thing where Travis was speaking on earlier about, you know, people younger me. I saw a lot of people who were entitled. There's a lot of entitlement, and I think that it's kind of coming back to that with all the social media and stuff like that. You see stuff out there, and you're like, man. Even with me, my social media. Well, not my social media, but I've seen social media.
Let's be
a lack
honest
of bad chicks. It's like a lot of bad chicks. It's like, yo, this ain't real.
Yeah,
This is not real. Like, I mean, you're like, everybody is not
a 10.
Yeah,
Well,
and it's like
BBL 10.
people that you see, like, oh, that's a 10. They're not a 10 in person. So, you know, you're always thinking that, oh, there's something better. You can't keep thinking there's something better out there, or you'll miss out on a lot of things that are around you, or people that you actually like and care for, and you're like, I'm indecisive about that, and then you lose out on something special. So,
first of all, I want to say I'm proud of you, Joseph. You know, typically, you know, you don't get that kind of wisdom from light skins. So I'm proud of you, Joseph.
I didn't even say it.
But you were thinking it though, right, Sid? You were thinking it.
You're ganging up on us, man.
Jealousy is a.
But I mean, Joe, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, we didn't actually finish introducing everybody.
Yeah, let's go around the table.
I want to say, you know, a lot of things Joe said were things I was going to say. I think, and plus some, you know, Joe brought up a really good point. You know, things are different between your 20s and your 30s, and from a man's standpoint, at least, you know, from a mature man's standpoint, you want to have yourself built up at least some way, so that you feel comfortable that, you know, when you're starting to build something with someone else, you know, you're bringing what you're supposed to the table, right? But that's not every man, because I know a dude who's still dead poor, who's in group chats asking us for money, and he got 5 kids and with like 3 different baby mamas. Yeah, it's bad. He just had a brand new kid last year, and I'm like, bro, you just asked us for money.
Man, you got time to do nothing. You just got time to make babies.
But you know, women say the dating pool is trash, but you know, I used to have a podcast, Fufu and Jerk podcast. You knew that, Tunde. And we kind of addressed this too. And my co-host was a woman who kind of agreed with what I was saying. And I think a lot of it starts with this. I think a lot of it starts with, you know, men aren't necessarily as picky as women on who they want to get with, right? I think women, especially in this area, have a very detailed, you know, attribute of who they want to go after. So you got to be 6 foot at least. You got to work out in the gym. You got to have nice hair. Some women like beards, some women don't, you know, but the preferences are very, very, very slender, right? To the point where, you know, the guys who fit that profile are dating half the city. You know, they're having their fun. They're going around, right? They're going around dating all these girls because, you know, that they know that they're the guy that girls are looking for, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, eventually they'll find the one person that's like, okay, I'm out the game now. This person is the best person I've been with after I've had my fun. You know, I'm out the game now. You know, throwing the rest of the girls back to the streets. You know, that's how it is. And then women turn around and say, oh, all these guys are trash. They're using us and abusing us. When the guys who aren't in that same mold, you know, they're not the ones that are highly considered. And, you know, there's another aspect of it where, you know, in your 20s, because women are so selective, you know, because women are so selective and their bodies are tight and they're looking their prime, and they're in their prime in their 20s, man. They're in their damn primes. You know, they could be very selective on who they're with. But as they reach closer and closer to 30, and I have a lot of female friends, and it happens all the time. They hit that panic button. They're like, why am I still single? Will I have kids? Will I get married? You know, and that's when, you know, you got, like you guys said, as you get to 30, you kind of settle a lot. But for guys, that same point Jig just made, you know, we're now establishing ourselves the way we want to. Like we're hitting our prime, right? we're hitting our prime career wise. You know, we're dressing a little better. And it's not to say that women aren't doing the same thing, but that's not what guys are necessarily looking for, right? And you have to really know what you're looking for. You want a girl that looks good. You want a girl, you know, that can know how to cook, you know, is a good representation of herself so that she's a good extension of you. You want those kind of things. So if your woman's a career woman, I don't think that's necessarily like something you can knock. You could be like, yeah, I can hold you down as you build yourself up. I think guys are more willing to do that than women are, right? So when you consider all of those things and all of these factors, you can see from a woman's perspective why they think that the dating pool is trash, right? Because, you know, as they're getting older, their pool is getting smaller. But for guys, as we're getting older, our pool is getting wider. We're really not limited as much as we used to be, right? You know,
well, you can say that, but I feel like so women date who they want, and I think like guys kind of date who shows them attention back.
now what are we talking about? Dating, as in like a relationship, or are we talking about
Dating.
you know, because guys do. I'm not gonna sit here and act like guys are the holy. You know, guys are going out there and they're looking for what they can smash. You know,
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like guys, when it comes to that aspect, is like you try to talk to her, but she ain't fucking with you.
Right.
Her friend might look at you, so you're like, fuck it, I go get the friend. You don't even really know what type of person she is. You don't know the type of person the pretty girl is, but because she's showing you attention, you're like, fuck it, jump in.
So here's the thing, right? Shabazz, you said women they're in their prime in their 20s, and I agree with everything you said about that. They're in their prime. They have a lot of options, but they don't choose. And on top of that, I'm gonna go ahead and go there now, get it out the way.
Oh boy.
They decide to have babies by Bama's that's trash.
Well, when I'm gonna stop you real quick and say they do choose. You know,
well, there you go. Right.
Guys would like we would like. I mean, we're out here, you know, hollering at these girls that we would like.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's ultimately up to the woman to actually give you the time of day, right?
100%.
Correct. Always.
So like you can holler, like you said, you can holler at 100 women.
Yeah.
But if only 20 of them give you the green light,
right?
That's what it is.
40
right?
though. He said he getting 40.
No, I'm just saying. I didn't say that was my average. That was an example.
Good Lord, this man
Probably a
out
lot
here.
lower than that. It's probably
He batting all the time.
that 200. You know,
Barry Bonds out
maybe.
here. He got the Cupid PED.
Ted Williams.
Nah, I'm batting 200. You know,
I
barely
mean-
making the majors, maybe.
I mean,
That got light skin rhetoric, man.
me and Ted know people that have that approach though. Like, hey man, my shtick is like a can of paint. I just throw that thing at the wall. And
Yeah,
whatever-
whoever bites is like fishing. Whoever bites, that's what they're gonna get.
yeah.
And if I don't like it, I throw it back in and go fish for another.
And I want to go back to Travis's, you know, the point before where he said, you know, they also having babies by trash dudes. I'm not gonna hold that slug to women either, because dudes be having babies by trash ass women too.
Yep.
It'd be some.
Agree.
So,
I agree.
I agree. Like,
it go both ways.
but like people change once a child is involved.
You have to.
I mean, but it's like having money. You either show you show that you're a really great person, or you show that you're really not the person that you portrayed yourself to be. So that's where, like, I think a lot of times we blame women, but this guy was everything to her before the baby got here. And then when the baby got here, he lost interest, or he didn't want the responsibility, so he bounced.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, it's a slippery slope when you try to say, hey, they pick these trash men, because everybody don't start off trash.
Yeah, a lot of people see dreams.
Yeah. And what I meant by that, what I meant to say by that was, but that's a power that they have control over at every different stage, though. When they engage with a guy, that part of it, that element of it, they have absolute control over. You know, that's why I brought that up, because it's like they didn't choose. You know, they're not necessarily choosing a person in their prime when they're in their prime. But they chose to, you know, some of them, I'm not talking about all of them, but some of them chose to be moms, you know, and then that impacts, the reason why I brought that up, because that also exacerbates the limit of their options as they age into their 30s, like you said, Shabazz. Like that's another. It's like an accelerant, you know.
Well,
to get to
the
that
clock
situation.
is ticking when they hit their 30s, and then I think they start to feel that pressure. Whereas, like, okay, I'm 34, I don't have kids, I'm not married,
Mhm.
and I got a few more years before I can even like have a healthy child. So let me get the next guy who shows me love, and then that dude takes advantage of the situation because
Right.
when he's with her for 10 years, he can cheat and go get a 22-year-old, 23-year-old, and just keep continuing that cycle. And then when he's done with her and they break up, he's still gonna go back and get him some young ones because he can have babies till he's 100.
70.
Till he's dead.
You know what I'm saying?
You have
As
to
long
do
as the
that.
sperm keep kicking. But
Yeah.
I mean,
So
there are some guys out there that don't mind, dating women with kids. There
Yeah,
are
and
guys out there.
that's
Right.
one thing I wanted to bring up is that not everybody sees it as a deterrent.
Mhm.
I
Let's
love
shift
kids.
let's shift the conversation a little bit, and we've all had the experience of dating in our 20s and our 30s. So
Barely.
let's talk about it. What have your experiences been like? Dating, in your 20s and in your 30s. You know,
Let me tell you the constant for me. Cheesecake Factory, baby. Let me tell you.
The
Let me tell
ball, the
y'all.
ball popping up.
Let me tell y'all. People hate on Cheesecake Factory, but let me tell y'all. You get a plethora of options, right? Right. You can get whatever you need. And if I go to Cheesecake Factory for one reason specifically. And
I think I know what you're about to say.
I
but
think
go
you
ahead.
know. I think I've told you this before. I go to Cheesecake Factory for one reason.
No, but we're both Africans. I think we both are thinking the same way. But go ahead.
When I go, I'm a cheesecake lover, right? I love cheesecake. It's my favorite dessert in the world.
We're thinking the same thing.
So if I take you to Cheesecake Factory and I have a trash date and I don't want to see it again, at least I can leave with some cheesecake.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say I'm only out $8.99.
No. Cheesecake ain't cheap. It's not entirely
At
cheap.
all.
It's cheaper. It ain't cheap.
Aren't
But
they like $10 a slice?
for one slice of cheesecake, you think that's cheap?
That's insane.
That's
I mean,
3
it's
times the average cost of cheesecake.
But he's
But
showing
a
you.
big-
See,
Oh,
it's
my
a
bad.
big slice.
I forgot who I was
You
talking
just
to. I
had
was talking
your
to
bet,
Felix back out
basically. You
here.
like,
Sorry,
hey,
man.
you know what? If
You
she
forgot.
tries-
No,
It's
no,
rich
no.
folk.
I got a little.
It's a big slice. That's like a 4-day supply of cheesecake.
Nah, but yeah, I go to places where if I don't have a good time, um,
The meal is going to be good for you.
the meal makes it worth the time for me.
Man,
But in my 20s,
I feel you, LaShawn.
oh yeah, I'm childless myself, LaShawn. And I'm in no rush. My brother got a kid with somebody he thought he was going to marry. They didn't marry, and he's in messy situations every day. So I don't want that for me. So I would prefer marriage first, then the child. I am getting up there in age, and it's also for men. And I'm sorry, I think we're going backwards a little bit based on that comment, but
Little bit.
we're talking about the clock women hit too, right? But there is somewhat of a clock for men. Is not as important. I think the clock for us would be, at some point, I want to play basketball with my kid, right? I want to be able to dunk on his ass and be the
You gonna
person.
dunk on him?
Oh, Fisher Price. I got you.
Oh, I'm about to say, come on, bro.
Y'all ain't got to put me out there. I look like an athlete. Relax.
Not much of an athlete. Pissed on his leg.
Whoa! You need to calm down, buddy.
Whoa, he shoot,
Hey,
You need to calm down, buddy.
let's
you
rein
ain't have
it
to
back.
shoot like that, big dog.
I'm more like Jordan. No, I'm joking. I'm not nothing like Jordan.
Yeah, that's.
But like I want to be there with my kid. Do athletic things like with him to
You don't want
play
to be the
football with him.
grandparent to your.
I don't want to be old as hell and just be watching, right? You want to play a part.
Right.
And so, I'm at an age right now. So, I'm 33. I turn 34 later on this year. If I had a kid this year, when he's 20, I'm 54, right? So I would have some time to do that stuff with him. But the longer I wait, I'm just watching him go through these things. So that's the only biological clock we have as men.
But I think you know, you talk about, you know, women having a plethora of options when they're in their prime, their peak. And I think to a degree, it's kind of the same thing where women realize they have power, and they're just, you know, wielding that power and utilizing that power that they have. But I think men do too. I mean, I think, you know, men hit that phase where they like, I got some cash in my pocket.
I got some clout for
You
sure.
got some cash and wisdom of the game a little bit.
Yeah,
you
you know,
going, yeah, absolutely.
I got, you know, I got my little job. I can travel. I can, you know, throw a little money around, and you know, I'm, you know, feeling good about myself, and let me, you know, let me
I
live it
must
up.
not have hit that yet.
So what?
Good Lord.
You know, let me, you know, live it up. So, I mean, I think the clocks don't, you know, quite overlap all the time, you know, to where, you know, women have their, you know, hot girl summers, and, you know, in their earlier years, and then men have their thought boy summers, you know, later on, you know, as they get
I
older.
don't know what that is. What's that?
I unfortunately did
I know I'm
not
getting old
engage
now.
in that.
What?
What
Somebody
is
out
that?
here lying, but we ain't gonna call nobody out
I don't know what that is.
because I don't speak on nothing I do.
So yeah. So Omar, you talked a little bit about your dating experience, right? I want to hear from Jig. Go ahead, talk to me. What has it been like for you?
You're talking
out
about
here?
in 20s though. You mentioned
And 30s. Just kind of, you know, in general.
well, I mean,
It was different.
20s, you're student. I was paying off student loans
Smart.
while
Responsible.
trying to date people who I think
Two
the
that's
friends were more involved in the 20s in the relationships that I were in. With
The
you
friends?
guys see this, like the friends of the female.
And
You
you was
know,
dating her and her friends.
Yeah, it was like I was dating multiple because if they didn't like the gift I got, it was a problem for her. Now it wasn't a problem. I had one actual experience. I got this girl, her birthstone, and I think that's kind of caring. You know, it's your birthstone. You think that's something that you're gonna like.
That's
I mean,
a
you was
great
paying
gift, bro.
attention.
You liked
Don't
it at the
listen to
time.
nobody.
Stuff like that. It was like a necklace and a ring, something like that. And this was like early 20s. You know, fresh out of college. I don't have money like that. And then like later, like the next day, you know, we got into a big argument over it because of how her friend thought it. Well, this is cheap. This is, you know, stuff like that. I mean, it was a lot more drama in the 20s.
You feel like that wouldn't happen in your 30s?
Nah, it wouldn't happen in my 30s.
Boy, you wilding.
It's getting worse. I think it would get worse.
I don't know if I would do. I mean, I guess it depends on the birthstone, but I think only birthstones that would have been nice would have been a diamond or something like that. And plus, my money way different than it was when I was in my 20s.
Oh, my bad, bro.
I mean, like, you know, like the traveling. No, I'm saying the traveling. We travel more. I would probably be more present. My mentality is different and how I approach things.
I'm just buying.
If it wasn't a big deal to
slice
me,
of cheesecake.
If it wasn't a big deal to me, I think in my 20s, I didn't see it as a big. Like, if I don't think it's a big deal, it didn't even matter if it was a big deal to that person because I didn't think it was logically a big deal. You know, you would talk to your boys about it. But in my 30s now, I've come to the point where I can actually empathize or put myself in that person. Or why do they feel this way about situation or something like that? So just being open to things. I was really stubborn in my 20s. I think a lot of guys are, where, you know, we always talk about we're being logical and they're being illogical. And we sometimes need to take a step back and actually think what's going on. Like, why are they feeling this way, and dealing with their emotions. So what's BRJ?
I don't know. I just put it on there because it was the latest comment.
Okay.
You have to clarify black and mild out.
Yeah,
Be real shit.
So hold on. So
Maybe.
I'm not sure I understand the scenario right. You bought her a birthstone as a birthday gift.
Yeah,
I think it's a pretty dope gift, especially when you fresh out of
I
college.
thought so too.
that's out of the box too.
I think it's a dope gift now, actually. I didn't think it's.
And the thing is, she didn't appreciate it, right? And you already, that's what I'm saying. Getting back what I said, what did I lead off with? Entitlement, right? That's crazy.
Right,
Like,
right.
anybody that hears that,
you talking to 20s, right?
and that's 20s, right? Now, that same, I think if we I don't know if we shift into the the older age yet, but that's
Well,
what
but
I'm
if
saying.
I if
that
I
hardens
if
you.
I if I did that with somebody that I dated, I mean, I've dated a couple people in my 30s. So if I did that with either the people that I dated now, they would have taken it differently.
Absolutely.
It wouldn't even have mattered. It's the person. You kind of got to know people. I guess I kind of knew that person was. I want to say, I don't want to say spoiled, but was just easily influenced by her friends and stuff like that. So, and I think now that I'm older and I'm able to talk a little bit better and more in depth with the people that I date. There's an understanding there. There's better communication through my 30s. It's just, I mean, I didn't even know why I was a certain way. I had certain things. I just had like a wall built up. We never talk about our emotions as guys. You don't even know how to talk about your emotions. So I've gotten to issues where I had a girl who was like, well, talk to me. I'll let you talk. Nah, nah, nah. And I wanted to say something, but I just didn't even know how to say stuff.
You felt guilty. You felt guilty about talking about
like,
your feelings.
You must not love me or something like that because you're not talking to me about it. I'm like, I don't even know.
But you probably don't feel like it was going to be respected, or it wasn't going to be.
Well, I don't even think I knew where to start. Where do I start? Like we're kids, we grow up. Everything is you're not
hard.
talking.
But let me ask you this though. We're real loose with stuff in the barbershop amongst men though. We don't have that same system.
Well,
it's still not deep stuff.
I agree. I was going to say that it's not the same.
Maybe at the barbershop, but with your boys,
how they slept with them, where they had her leg, and all this other stuff, but won't talk about this thing that happened when you were 7, or this thing that happened.
You going back? Okay, you going to that? I thought
like I don't even know. Like, did you get bullied? Like people gone through things that nobody will ever know about.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, it's something that they shouldn't know about, but. I'm just saying, like, we were just never taught, and I think as black men, we were never really taught to express our feelings. Like my dad, I don't remember him. He told my mom he loved her and stuff like that, but it wasn't like I never seen my dad cry or stuff like that. There was never like, hey, got my boys together and we talked about our emotions. It was you fell, you get up, wipe it off, scrape it off. You keep moving. Girls got babied a little bit more. Even in school, you saw it. You see girls cry, their grades get changed. A guy would try that. It would be like, what is this dude doing?
Get your soft ass out of my classroom.
Yeah, I mean, it's
like, and I think that's one of the biggest complaints I think women have with dating guys is that we're not emotionally available. I think I get that all the time
because that was a major point last week.
Yeah, like for me, like I have my dad is African from Ghana. We're from Ghana. My dad grew up an orphan. Kind of grew up like getting physically and emotionally abused his whole life. So my dad didn't know how to show emotion. He didn't show it to us, right? And I remember, and even as a kid, like things would happen, and he'd be like, "Suck it up," and I was like 5, right? And so, like, I've dated women when they're like, "Yo, you don't like, why aren't you opening up? Or why aren't you doing that?" And like Joe said, I was like, I didn't realize that I wasn't. Like, I don't realize that I'm not, and I don't know how to. Like, I don't know what you want me to exemplify for me to reach that for you. I try to be with the women I date. I try to be as honest as possible. And if honesty isn't enough emotionally, then I don't know what else I need to do.
Which is,
I think it's also
empathy, man. Yeah. Like from what I'm just to jump in to talk about how I was in my 20s and how I am in my 30s. I'm getting to my mid 30s, but when I was in my 20s, it was I would want to say things, but I just never could bring myself to say it. Of course, I grew up. I was shy. I was self-conscious.
You was ugly then. You ugly now. It's crazy.
Oh, no, I'm the most handsome person in the chat.
Y'all brutal.
Don't lie to yourself, boy. So, like, it was like I'd have interest in women, but I'd settle for the friend role because I was scared to lose that. I was scared to put myself out there. Not even a friendship. I was scared to put myself out there because I didn't know how I was going to get received. Like, growing up, I was a guy that never got attention like that from females. And if I did, I didn't really see it because I didn't understand it or whatever. So when I got in my 20s, that self-consciousness kind of closed me off. Like I'd rather be mean than to open up and possibly be with this person or whatever. And I had like one real relationship in my 20s, and it was a good relationship at first. Like I improved myself as a person a lot, but I still never opened up to this person the way I should have. And when it ended, I went back to closing myself off till I hit my 30s. And then it was like, I can't keep living like this because I spent most of my 20s in isolation. My teens was in isolation. Now I'm jumping into my 30s and I'm not going to want to be in that isolated state anymore because you yearn for companionship. You yearn for somebody to listen to you talk about even the stupid things in your life and show you that, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? So like now that I've gone, deeper in my 30s, I've had more relationships in my 30s than I did in my 20s. I see myself opening up more. Whereas if I feel the way, I speak about it. If I want to show emotion, I show emotion. You know what I'm saying? And I show more of my personality now than I ever did before because it was like if you asked anybody about me, any woman, she'll say I was cool, I was chill, but that's all she could say. She wouldn't say, "Oh, he might be funny," or "He might be, he's really compassionate and stuff like that." So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I was going into my 30s. So that's pretty terrible. Whoever Kodak Black is, Kodiak Black.
Hey,
But
I've been getting those jokes my whole life. Yeah, I'm used to it.
yikes.
Kind of refreshing, to be honest with you.
But yeah, so that's where I was at. Like now I'm in a situation where I feel comfortable, and I wasn't always comfortable.
I wonder if it's like
But that's good that you're there now.
a
Yeah, there's a lot there. What you just said, Brian.
I kind of feel like it's a perpetuating cycle, right? Where in the fact that we have those for lack of a better word, traumas, things affecting us, coming up as youth that cause us to not really open up, in the context of relationships. And then there's also, and maybe we can talk about that. Sometimes when you feel like you do share, it's uncomfortable because it's a foreign feeling, right? But then, how many of you have approached a situation where you do expose yourself, and then you feel judged, or they look down on you, or make fun of you, or say
Or they
something? And it's like, well,
or they
shit,
weaponize it. Or they weaponize it against you later
yeah.
on.
And
And
then
that's
it's
and
like,
that's part of the fear too.
you see, so I should have kept this shit close. And I ain't saying nothing else.
Yeah.
And
Well, I used to like that was definitely a fear, but now it's like, fuck it, I don't
Okay.
care.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like
yeah,
I grew up being made fun of. I grew up like I wasn't the freshest, I wasn't all that, and it was like as soon as you said something, I shut down. I stand in the back. Don't look at me. Now it's like, man, it took for me to put on weight and get fat for me to say, why do I care about what other people think?
yeah. And I mean, shoot. I mean, even when you get married, it doesn't get any easier to open up. I mean, that's hard. I mean, to completely, expose yourself, and it's an uncomfortable feeling. And you could argue that that's the thing that women probably complain the most about. When they get into a dating atmosphere with the man, is that they just they just don't talk. Like, they just don't talk about how they feel. They just act. We're about that action. Like,
Yeah.
um,
Well, being willing to goes a long way too.
Yeah, it does.
There's sometimes there's things you can't say, you don't know how to say them, but you gotta reassure them that it's not something that it's their, like, it's not them. A lot of times we won't say stuff, so then they start to thinking, and they start internalizing certain things, and think they're the reason we can't open up, or what can they do to make it. And sometimes you have to just tell them, I may be going through some stuff. It's not you. You gotta just reassure them, and I think both sides need to do that with each other. Sometimes you don't even know. You could be in a funk and you don't even know what's going on with you. You're like, I don't know what this feeling is. You could be depressed. but you're not even sure what this feeling is, and you need to just communicate. And I think everything really goes back to being a good communicator, or just trying to communicate, or willing. Both parties are willing. Like, you're married, so we said we was in this for forever. And I know a lot of people who you get married, you really get married forever. That's how I see it. If you're going to get married to somebody, there's no breaking in this. So,
hey, Tunde, do you mind if I ask a question to the panel out of curiosity?
Yeah, sure.
So everyone here is single, right? This is the single male.
I'm not single.
Oh, you're not single?
No.
Okay.
It's two people.
Oh yeah, Tunde
married. So,
right, so Jig and Town Legend, why do you think you guys are single right now?
I'm not single.
That was on my question list.
He said he wasn't single.
Oh, he said so. It's just you and me.
Yeah, so we can talk offline, brother. It's like,
so why are you single, Shabazz?
But women ask that all the time.
You want me to,
That's like
go
classic
first?
question.
Yeah, you go first. Since I asked it, you go first, and I'll follow up. That's crazy. What kind of
I
dating
am
conversation
single
is that?
currently. Well,
Apparently, let's hear the
I'll say
apparently.
yes.
Let's hear the apparently first, because that clearly came from someone else. So now I'm curious.
wait, hold on. Who's that?
He said apparently.
Jig, you said I'm single. Apparently.
Did I say that?
And then you said, well.
I thought I said currently. I thought I said currently because, but
I heard apparently, but hey, I'm old.
Yeah, I'm. It's
How
no
about this?
apparent.
Hey Jig, clear it up. How long have you been single? You've been single since.
And you don't include dating. You mean like I'm in a relationship.
6:30 today.
Oh, it's 8:25. It's like no.
This ain't working.
I'm single now. Well, it's really by choice. Well, after you break up, now it's by choice. You get what I'm saying? Like, there was a breakup that took place, and I'll take full blame for it. I wasn't in a good headspace. Like I said, I didn't reassure this person of certain things. So we're in a relationship, and I'm not communicating the way I needed to communicate. There were, you dropped the ball at certain areas of communication. I didn't know who I was till recently, maybe like the last 2 years or the last year. I was like really in a place where, I talked to Tunde. Well, I talked to Shabazz and Felix a little bit about, just being, I was in a funk and a dump, and I didn't really communicate. A lot of stuff was going on with work where I was just constantly thinking about making money. I got promotion, and I was like, all right, what about the next promotion? I didn't celebrate little victories that I had on the way. So that kind of just, everything was about that. So family relationships was taking like a back seat, when ultimately I was doing all of this to have a family, so it was like everything you fought for, did this for, you no longer have, because, we end up breaking up, and I'll take full responsibility for not communicating, not letting them know what was going on in my life, even if it's just to say, hey, I'm going through some stuff. I've been dating recently, and like, I don't go to certain places where there are, I don't know how to say this, like chicks
Bunch of people.
So like I don't really do the whole
Full attention.
I don't do the
Full
whole
attention women.
I don't go to clubs like that, so I'm not getting to, and I'm not saying everybody that goes to those things are a certain way, but I meet more professional people. A lot of women got their stuff together, so it's like, if you really want to get somebody who has their stuff together, it's not that difficult. I know a lot of people want to be the breadwinner and stuff like that, or have a problem with the female being the breadwinner, and when I say breadwinner, I mean just making more. The guy still can take care of stuff like that, but yeah, I think if you're securing yourself to be the man, you should be fine with somebody making more money than you. I mean, it ain't that easy to be making more money than some of these people on the panel, but like Felix and Shabazz. But
Wow.
I mean, that's that. So you can answer that question now, Shabazz. Why are you?
No problem, man. And I appreciate you trying to throw my wealth out there.
I mean,
I just listen.
Hey, look,
I aspire to have a 5-story house like you, man. That's you're my inspiration. All right.
Hey, there are ladies watching. I'll throw the handle in the comments.
That's why I ain't got one. I'm good.
Yeah. So for me, I would say it's kind of rooted in kind of, what the expectation of a man is in a relationship, kind of what you touched on at the end, because you want to be the provider and everything. And I started my career in journalism, and the first thing they tell you when you go into journalism is you're going to start off real poor, right? You're not going to make a lot of money. You got to build your
You
way.
came up, didn't you?
You ain't gonna make a lot of money. You're going to you got to work your way up to it. So I wasn't making a lot of money off the jump. So, I wasn't taking out a lot of women to nice places, with the intention of,
Applebee's.
marrying these women. Like there was this one bad giant I used to date back in the day, and she was just so low key. She was like, "You want to just go, like, to like Applebee's or to like Guapo, something to get like a $10 meal?" And I was like, "You're perfect. Like, what's going on? Guapo's Mexican spot. You never been there?
I know.
DC? It's fire." Yeah, she was a cheap date every time. I loved it. But she wasn't serious, and I wasn't serious at the time either. But I wasn't making a lot of money. So for me, I wasn't seriously looking until I felt comfortable as a man what I was making, that, if something were to happen, and it's like if she got pregnant or something like that, I could financially support this family and we wouldn't be living paycheck to paycheck and all that good stuff. And so once I got there, I don't consider myself a super picky person. I don't, at least not as far as personality is concerned, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a variety of different ways a woman can be beautiful physically.
Absolutely.
Sound like we got another classic, man, Tunde.
What?
It's an inside. It's a Minority Minds joke.
Is that for? I don't even want to say his name. I think I know who that's for.
Your Diaz finna be popping though.
Nah, but nah. So I don't think I'm that picky as far as the one. As long as you're physically beautiful, I'm gonna shoot my shot. If I land, I think I mesh well with a lot of different personalities. For me, it depends on, can I see myself dealing with you for the rest of my life? Do I think that your personality isn't toxic? Do I think that you're a little bit intolerable? There was a woman that I was dating who she was like, I would make plans, I pay for everything, I say what's up. And I'm like, thank you, for coming through, being polite. And she would always say, "You're welcome." Like she was doing me the favor. And at first I didn't think much of it, right?
You said thank you though, right?
I would say thank you.
Thanks for coming out.
For coming out. In return,
you are a nice guy. Let's be confirmed. You are a nice guy.
Of course, I'm a very nice guy.
Thinking girls are coming out on dates with him.
But I kind of not necessarily respect, but I wanted to be like,
I appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming, paying for, taking me out or making the time, stuff like that. That kind of a typical thing. But every single time it was, "You're welcome."
That's it.
That's it.
That's wild to me.
It's not a. Oh, I had fun too. Thank you for having me, asking me out and taking me out and stuff. It was just.
I had a good time.
You're welcome.
And the last time we went out, she went out with her friends the night before. It was like one of her friends' birthdays. Right. They partied all night, 3:00. She comes through, was like, "You mind if I, take a nap before we go out?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." Goes to sleep for 3 hours. We go out. She comes back. She's like, "I'm still tired. You mind if I take a nap?" Takes a nap again. Wakes up and puts her coat on. It's like, "I'm ready to go."
So, how many dates did you take her on before you came to this realization?
We were dating for a couple months. For
Jesus,
son,
months. You need better friends. Somebody should have stopped you.
I'm very low key with my dating. Unless I claim you, you're likely not being introduced to the homies.
I get that.
You got to get a board of directors.
She was there.
She was a leech
for a reason. No, but she was there for a reason.
No, she wasn't. She's very financially stable.
Okay, that don't mean she's not a leech.
She's just not self-aware.
She's not self-aware, and she's a little selfish. Right. And I didn't want to tie myself to that long term.
Yeah, don't. She did.
So you
Don't call
had
it
her
that.
around until you found something better. That's what you did.
I didn't say that, brother. I did not say that.
You said
Smash.
with a
You
you
got
thing
it.
until
See, so hold on. So that's like there's so much in that, right? Because
That's crazy.
he
you
already
could
knew that
be-
he didn't want to be with this person.
right, and the switch flipped, but he didn't say nothing.
Y'all are going
And
through my
no,
talking
that-
points.
y'all
Let's
didn't
keep-
even-
They can't tell when we flip the switch in our mind, like, yeah, long term.
But we can't
this
either
is
though.
just-
That-
exactly.
so
Time
that
out.
leads-
And
Time
they're
out.
better at it than
Hold on. Time out.
Oh, way,
time
way
out.
better at it.
Y'all are assuming that I continued to date this woman after I found out that I didn't like this woman.
No, I'm trying to figure out
Why
did
you ain't like her?
smash?
Why it took that long?
you said months. So after the third,
Yeah,
you're
bro.
welcome. You felt away. Come on.
After
You
the first one, you should have felt the way.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that leads into my next question then, and y'all are y'all are right here as far as going through the talking points I have. So, what are the reasons that you stay in a situation that you know is not going to work for you? For the women to know,
Coochie.
you know,
Fantastic
Convenience.
coochie. and you know, ladies, don't let dudes lie to you. A lot of guys are gonna tell you you have fantastic coochie. Just stay in your good graces. Not only y'all got
It's hard to
fantastic coochie.
it's hard to get another one after you already got the one that's been in the house for a while.
I mean, it's hard to go back out. You got like, oh, I gotta go back.
You
in
gotta
and
go
hunt
back and
now.
start
I gotta,
over.
when you got some good stuff, there's a lot of
Keep
leeway you
that
get away
around.
with. I'm not gonna lie to you.
what's
There's a lot of
Toxic,
things you get away with.
you know.
Look at that smirk on Jig's face. Look at
I ain't said a word.
You just saying jig
Your
and
face
like
said
coochie.
enough though.
Talking about something
I'm
is
just
not
enjoying
me,
it.
it's them.
what's the saying? What's the saying that old people say? A bird in the hand is better than two in the bush, or something like that. It's like, hey, you got.
Sometimes it's cheaper to keep her.
I mean, there's listen, like there's
Devil
a number
you
of
know
things
is
that,
better than the devil you don't.
But long term, it's expensive because
Facts.
Well, because if you go back out there, it might be expensive.
Yeah, but if you're trying
Dating ain't cheap.
to eventually get to the point where you want a long term relationship, again, you're limited by having you got this. You're tied to her. You're blocking out your opportunities elsewhere.
Well, but you could be on the way out, but some people
I
be
know
long.
what
I don't
know what
know.
you're thinking.
I don't know. I feel like people who are taken sometimes are more desirable.
I was
Big
just about
facts.
to say that. That's what Shabazz was put his finger up. I was like, yeah,
Big facts.
but you don't want them though. If
But-
a chick
but
coming
you know-
after somebody that's
but you
taken,
know-
you don't want them.
It's
You
'cause
don't.
Yeah, because then that
changes.
genuine
you just
song
want
just
to put
plays in
something
your
else.
head.
You don't want to. You don't.
Wait,
No,
what
but-
genuine song?
You know, when you get in a relationship or when you find somebody in a relationship, you can just see the different energy they walk around with, because it's not that uncertain energy. It's like, I'm good. And you're like, damn, she good. Why is she so good? Let me go see that. Oh, the girl see you like, huh, he wasn't walking like that yesterday. And you could be walking the same in your mind, but they're like, hey, he a little bit more attractive today. Let me go see what's up.
Nah,
And
you know what it is. You ignored them. That's what it is.
it don't. I mean,
You were completely oblivious.
I can say that, but
That's what it is.
you can say that, but in my experiences, I'm a bouncer on the side,
Okay.
and literally after I got off the market, I'm the same way because I have to talk to people. I'm not ignoring anybody. It's just people just start shooting.
Being a
Nah,
bouncer is
I'm
weird
wrong.
though. It's like a weird.
No,
It's like a
I
weird
can't
power.
relate to that.
I'm mean because I work the door.
It's like a weird power dynamic.
Yeah.
When you work as a bouncer, it doesn't make any sense. I can't explain it. But yeah, I mean, what you're saying isn't foreign either. But other than coochie, what makes y'all stick around
Is there anything
when
else?
you know it? I mean, is there? I mean, that's a question I'm
No,
asking.
it is. I mean, sometimes it's just convenience.
Well,
I wanna
sometimes
hear-
you
I
like
wanna
the
hear
person,
from
but you don't like the relationship.
Yeah,
There-
that's
I mean, you're like, man,
But-
that's
She might
This
be,
is
but
actually-
she might like the duties that she's doing. So like she might be checking some boxes that you're not really checking that well. As far as
So-
maybe she's a dope person.
Can
But
you
she's
go-
just
can you-
not dope for me.
And Travis, can you expand on that?
Yeah. What is she
The
cooking you
duties.
dinner?
Yeah, I mean, she might be cooking dinner, but she come over, she might clean up. You know what I'm saying? She, professionally, she might be beneficial to you.
So
She might know how to. She you know what I mean? Like there's a bunch of externalities when it comes to relationships, and that's not just romantic ones. That's friends too. You know what I'm saying?
So, do you think then, kind of like understanding that to be sometimes the case, can we blame women for saying or feeling like it's transactional and them kind of reversing it and trying to want to use it against us? Like, hey,
It's absolutely transactional. Yeah.
let me let me hit this dude up for some money, send him the
Oh, hell
cash
no.
app.
No, you can't. No, hell no.
Don't ever send me a Cash App request.
Wait, hold up. See, I've been out the game. What?
So look. So if a woman is saying, "Oh, this is transactional, send me some money," she's
I'm
not looking for a
offended just by that
relationship.
question.
She's looking for a bank.
You're the bank.
like
sugar daddy.
let me tell you a little story that happened with me and my boy. Me and my boy go out to M Street. We run into these two girls he knows, one that he's talking to, and her friend. So I'm sitting there, I'm talking to her friend. We're having a cool conversation, and homegirl that my boy's talking to is like, "Yo, like talking to my boy, it's like, yo, can you buy me a drink?" And he was like, "Can I buy you a drink?" He was like, "What's wrong with your?" He's like, "What's wrong with your wallet?"
He's dating this girl, or is this a random?
No, they were talking. They weren't dating. Like they were in the talking phase, but he didn't like the fact that she insinuated that he had to buy her a drink.
Well, she said, "Can you buy me a drink?"
It was more of an implication.
Oh, like, oh, well,
it was very rude.
Wasn't when you buy me a drink or something?
It was rude. Like, did it come off rude?
It came off rude.
Yeah.
Oh,
So my boy was like, "What's wrong with your
You got a
wallet?"
career?
She was like, "Why am I talking to you at the bar then if you're not going to buy me a drink?" And he said, "I don't know."
That's that entitlement that Travis was talking about.
Right. And so I'm talking to her friend.
That sounds crazy.
And she walks over to me and goes, "Hey, Shabazz, can you buy me a drink?" I mean, Shabazz, don't you want to buy me a drink? And I said,
"Get your ass back over there."
Don't you want to buy me a drink?
She said, "Don't you want to buy me a drink?" And I said, "Not really." I was like, was over my homeboy. She was like, she was like, "Let's stop talking to these broke. I don't know. This is uncensored, right? Let's stop talking to these broke niggas and go find somebody else."
Yeah.
And I was like,
"Cool,
deuces." Like we're in a bar.
So I have a very this is off the topic. It just kind of popped up in my head. I have a question. Say you're out with your boy that's single and you're in a relationship.
And he needs a wingman.
Yeah. Do you feel guilty being the person who's running interference with the girl's friend? Or are you one of those like, hey, you're on your own there, player?
Nah, the intention is everything. Like I'm gonna run I
run interference.
Huh?
Run interference, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna run interference 100% of the time. Intention is everything. Like I will do what I got to do to let my boys be successful. And once he's successful, I don't care about this girl.
and here's the cool part: you can run interference and lead with your status. You can be like, I got my girl at home, blah, 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 and just start talking to her.
I don't want to do that because that still might mess your boy up. I might end it with that after my boy's already clinched. I'll be like, "Oh man, it's getting late. I gotta get back to my girl."
That's my girl calling. I got.
What about you, Jay?
Not everybody can be the shooter. Sometimes you got to set the screen.
My boys will tell you, I'm a great wingman. Like I've led to them, all getting a lot of success. Even when I was in a relationship.
All getting you Draymond Green?
Bro, I'm Draymond, bro.
Oh,
I got Stephen Clays. I got Stephen Clays. I'm letting them get their threes up, bro. I'm letting them get their threes up. Even when I was in a relationship, and when like I remember we went to Vegas.
Yeah, that's tough right there when you're in a relationship.
Went to Vegas.
What?
I feel guilty.
And I ran interference. And my boy was, and because the girl's friend was like, "Oh my God, don't go back home with him. You just met him. Like, what are you doing?" And she was
like, "Come here, girl."
And the girl was
What's
like,
your name?
What
you went to?
Stays in Vegas. And so my boy was like, "Yo, homegirl is blocking." I said,
"I got this.
Check up.
Your boy's here. I got you."
He was Eddie House.
See, my thing is though, like you shouldn't really be relying on a wingman. You should just be going at both of them.
Nah, it don't work like that, bro.
It don't always work that way.
It's always gonna be the one that hates.
You can lose both.
The one that ain't getting no love.
Y'all keep swinging. Keep swinging. Like I said.
Nah, but bro, if you do that, if you try to talk to both, the one that you're not trying to talk to, either does one or two things. Mm-hmm. She'll either try to interject herself into it, or she's going to try to block it all the way because she knows that you're going after.
So go for the one that's not as cute, and then
Nah, bro.
What?
Nah, man.
I was like, what?
You might
I'm
set yourself
joking.
up.
I'm
You might be
joking.
stuck with the one that's not cute.
Oh, I say
You are
You
a
always
bad
walk
game
away.
planner.
You
You
always
are a
bow
bad
out.
game planner. Do not let him draw the plays. Do not let Travis draw the plays.
Don't mess around and play yourself. So what do we think outside of emotional availability are the most important traits and qualities that women are looking for? You know,
I'm gonna say this. I think the most important thing men can do is you have a vision for what you want and you start working towards that, and that's your priority. And then if you can communicate that to whoever you think you're trying to be with, and if y'all visions align, I think that's so underrated out here, where people are, we talk about all the stuff that really don't matter, like attraction and all that shit gonna fade, right? Personalities, like, yeah, one day, Tunde, you just got married, right? You're gonna be mad as hell at her next week for something stupid, vice versa, same thing for her, right? So you're gonna have these moments, these short-term periods where y'all not gonna be on the same page. But with the glue, and this is the mistake I made, in that is gonna be, are y'all solid on that vision y'all have that's aligned? That's the most important thing.
So
because
women
you're
are
gonna go through ups and downs, you're gonna have tough spots, you're gonna have issues, man. Ain't no perfect marriages out here, as was displayed on the Grammys the other night, right?
the
Shit
slap
is
heard
sloppy.
around the
Shit is
world.
ugly. Listen, the underbelly of every solid couple. You got couples that been out here, been together for 30 years, 40 years. You think that shit was smooth? No, but they had a vision, and that's what kept them together. They stuck it out, and it was the vision that kept them together. And if y'all visions can't get aligned, it's not necessarily about her getting on board. It's that she had a vision too, and it's aligned with yours. She can't get on board with that; it ain't gonna work.
So how?
Oh, my bad.
I was gonna say, Travis, before we go back to you, Shabazz, okay, so if in our opinion in your opinion, that's what women are looking for, how do we go about sussing that out when we first meet someone without jumping too far ahead?
Communication.
Without scaring them off, right? Like without like saying,
I don't think women are scared off by future dreams.
Off.
I think guys are more scared off by future dreams, to be honest. If a woman talks about marriage and stuff off break, I think that's a little worrisome. Mm-hmm. But I don't think women have an issue when men talk about what they want to achieve in life.
Correct.
Because typically when guys talk about that kind of stuff, they're not necessarily talking about her. They're not talking about they're talking about what their vision is and what they want their future to look like. Mm-hmm. Whereas when women speak about it, it's more like, yeah, I want to get married, I want to do this. It seems, and I don't want to speak for all women, but I think a lot of women who are career based will sometimes talk about business and their future plans too, but a lot of it is mostly family as well, right?
Yeah,
and I think
she wants a role. She wants a role. Yeah.
Well, maybe because they feel like, it's almost like LeBron. I keep going to sports analogies. It's like LeBron. You accomplish everything you want to do on the the court. Basically, it's like all that's left is playing with my son. So from like a woman's perspective, it's like, hey, I've accomplished all these things in business. I've hit all these metrics and career goals that I've wanted to achieve. Now it's time to, expand the empire,
But see, here's the thing, right? I push back on that a little bit. Who said you had to do one then the other? Because if I was a woman and I wanted to accomplish things in my professional life, and I wanted to also have children and everything, I would be doing things. You have to multitask. You have to do both at the same time, because you have the window of when you can have children, right? And you have your window of your prime. So, and I don't agree with this notion. Like, the notion out here now is like, a woman has to do either or. And I don't agree with that, because I had one in my family. They had families, they were moms, and they were professionals. Right?
My mom had my brother in pharmacy school.
There you go, right? So you had super mom, and my mom came home in the business suit, cooked dinner for us, blah, blah, blah. While the dinner was warming up, she went upstairs, changed her clothes. She was, So
but times are different now, though.
How did they do that? I feel like there were more hours in the day back then.
Nah, not really, people, because people staring at the damn phone for no reason. That's why. But I mean, my thing is,
You sound like an old head for real, bro.
I am. But I mean, but I'm not. I'm
Lord.
saying though, like
You should meet his dad.
exactly. But like, no, I'm saying like, I think the what's going on right now to me, what I find very strange is like it's either or it's this first, then it's that, and it's like no, you got to figure all. Listen, I got kids myself, and I'm a professional, and I'm dad, and dads are more involved now, which is another benefit women have now that the generation before them don't. Dads are way more involved in their children's lives, giving baths, cooking. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. And so what I'm saying is you're gonna have to do both regardless. So why is it out of the question? I don't give a pass to a woman that says she wants to be a professional to say like, well, I'm gonna get my career together first, and then I'm gonna,
That's what most guys do.
Yeah, but we can afford to do that. They can't. That's
but they're taking that mindset.
They're not men. They can't do it
and placing it on themselves.
Yeah, but they can't do that. That's what I'm saying. That's the reality of nature. Like we say, we can have kids until we're 70. Our equipment works. They can't. They can't do that.
You can't say that either. Hey, your equipment work, girl.
But no, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying there's a reality. Come on.
All these ED commercials out here
There's a
trying to sell pills.
No, there's a reality. But no, but even okay. Let's say I was exaggerate with 70, 50. There's a reality here, right? Of they have a window. And they got to do both. And that's the reality of it. Is it fair? No, but that's not our fault. That's not a man's fault. It's not a man's fault that you can't move in the world like a man. You can't. Shit, we can't move like women in the world. You know what I'm saying? But like she said, and that's what I knew this was going to come up, a strong support system. It's difficult for them. Right. That's why the vision is important. She has to feel supported by your vision.
You gotta have a vision.
Boom. But is she out there hunting for a vision? Is she out there hunting for a guy with vision?
Physical support and imaginary support are two different things, bro.
Yeah, because I'm trying to be a rapper. I will make it as a rapper.
But see, that's the thing.
So will I.
So that's the thing. Are there guarantees? No, there's no guarantees.
Well, there's a lot of trust that goes in that. And that, I mean, you got to show her that you're a leader.
Who in here got parents that have been together for a long time? Who in here got parents that have been together? Ask them about that. They had this.
I promise
you.
About it. I promise you, the vision was.
Yeah, but I mean, financially, you got to be. You're not going to be in charge.
But you got to take a chance.
So
at the end of the day, it's still going to boil down to that.
So let me ask you a question.
I could just say this.
They believe in action, though.
Can I ask them a question? Let's say you meet a woman. You guys have an aligned vision, but because of her support system, she can't meet her vision, and she's starting to be more of a financial liability to you.
Wait, hold on. She doesn't have a support system. What do you mean by that?
The same way the comment said it. She doesn't. She doesn't have family or friends to help her. Okay. Do that extra stuff because
she got a man. But she got a man that's willing to be there, right?
You?
Yeah.
You gonna pick up the pieces?
Of course.
Pick up the pieces.
Hey, salute to you.
Classic man number 2 tonight.
I just said, yo, listen. Today, the standard of being a father is much. Like the duties of a father are much different, and I think much more demanding than it was before. Put it this way.
Or just not starting to catch up with what the reality of being a father really was? Because
I mean, I'm not gonna dare say that the men back in the day weren't dads. I'm not gonna say that at all. But what I am saying is it's a different time period and different expectations. But then again, an average working man back in the day had a woman at home, because back in the day, Bama's was working 12-hour days, 16-hour days, like it wasn't nothing. So he ain't had time to come home and be, super dad, right? So nowadays that demand is not necessarily on men's time is not always there necessarily in every guy's life. So he has more time to play with his kids, be in his kids' lives, give them a bath, cook them dinner, that type of stuff. That more fatherly role, and even in black men. If you look at the data on this type of stuff, we're more involved fathers than any other group. So it's already coming through. So
I think LaShawn brings up a good point where, some women prefer to be house women. Maybe they don't want to be professional.
Correct. There you go. And that's a choice. Absolutely.
But I feel like most women want the option to not have to work. But they
correct. I agree with you.
Perfect. But then here's the thing, right? What I would say to women like that, they want the option for it. I think no dude would have a problem if and y'all back me up on this, right?
Only
Oh,
if
yeah.
only if it's a good.
Let me hear it first. Let me hear this first.
No. Y'all back me up, but give me your opinion on it.
Okay.
I don't care if you agree with me or not, but just listen to what I'm saying. If let's say you're in a relationship, she's the one, y'all together, y'all gonna stick this thing out long term, and she said, "Look, let's hustle, get this paper, and y'all got kids, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And let's say she says, let's save up our money, let's get our money situation in place so that we can afford for me not to work and I can stay home. And then that takes a lot of pressure off you from doing the home stuff, and that takes a lot of pressure off of me doing the house stuff. Any dude on here, y'all got a problem with that?
Well, if she says it to a point where we're comfortable, I don't think that's a problem.
So basically, what I'm saying is, I bet let's work towards retiring me, and you know what I'm saying. Let's work towards I can retire, so I ain't gotta do this. And we can still get our goals accomplished.
I mean, there's a lot of variables.
I want to be a house husband.
I don't consider it
no.
retirement.
You said you want to be a house husband. Hey.
I mean, I don't consider it retirement though, because it's just a change. Yeah, it's just
professional retirement.
I heard a podcast maybe like 2 weeks ago where, and I forget who it was. I'm sorry, but they said like they compared a stay-at-home mom to like $150,000 salary job when you consider the maintenance of the home, teaching of the children, things like that.
Expensive.
Yeah. To the point where when we have kids, I'm telling my mom like, you better stay in PG County because we're just gonna just randomly drop the kid off when we want to travel.
Not randomly though.
Right.
Now that's entitled. I'm joking.
I mean, we already know Felix likes to travel randomly anyway.
Hey, listen, I told my mom like, because she keeps saying have a kid. I'm like, I don't got have a kid money. Like, you got have a kid money.
You have a West African mother. She will gladly take the child whenever you want her to.
Yeah,
and the child will be speaking Igbo before you even know how to speak it.
But what I'm basically saying is a career woman can get in a relationship, work her way into a housewife role if she wants it. I don't think a dude gonna have a problem with that. Most men ain't gonna have a problem with that.
So then, what me want to be a house husband?
Nothing.
I was.
I'm trying to sit home, play Call of Duty.
I'm trying to raise
in my pajamas,
children.
bro.
I got a problem with being a house
with a view.
I'm from the old school.
But some people actually have a problem with that. I mean, we're Lachelle and I are watching a show where the husband is a sales engineer and he made significant. And Travis, as a sales engineer, you make significant money, and he's not working as a sales engineer now, and so they're going through this marriage, and she's working at home, and he's home every day, and she has a problem with that. She wants him to get a job, even though he has significant savings. So I think there's some women.
There was no foundation there.
Let me tell you something. Tunde, you're gonna learn this. You already know this for sure. I know you know this. Women don't like to see you enjoy yourself too much.
It's funny because I just said it to Lachelle. Like, how would you feel?
Can't be having too much fun all the goddamn time.
If I retired us and you decide you want to keep working and you leave work and I'm on Xbox and you come home and I'm still on Xbox. She's like, yeah, I'd be burnt up.
Yeah, see?
I mean, I'd be.
There's something sexy to her about us walking out the door. I don't know. I got some tips for that, though.
Joe, what you got to say? Because Joe, what you got to say? Because you just
super judging.
I'm just listening.
You don't want to contribute. You don't want to contribute to this part.
The married folks are talking about marriage. I mean, I don't.
Man. So let me ask you this, Travis. How long have you been married?
I was married. So I'm not married now. I'm in a long-term relationship. I was married and I was divorced.
Okay. How long were you married?
Before that, 5 years.
5 years. And what was the breaking point of the marriage?
Breaking point was, I think I saw her true once we had children. I started to see who she really was. And I think she wanted me to be just to be a yes man, which I found amazing. So I'm like,
anyone who knows this man Travis knows he is.
I'm like, all my boys are like, yo, what?
I get all common vibes from you.
You get what? Yo, light skin jokes is pumping, bro. I'm gonna have to write some of these jokes down. But nah, so I mean, I think but that was one of the things about that's why I brought up the vision thing. Her and I never really talked about a vision of the future. We talked about us, but all that shit was soft and short term. None of it was hard, objective stuff. And that was the big press, probably the biggest mistake I made. But another thing too is another thing I overlooked that backfired was I didn't really look deep enough into her relationship with her friends and how they regarded her. And let me tell you something, that's the best insight into your woman is her relationship with her friends. Because like they could, because you on your way, because her girlfriends at that age, she is by choice. They've been around each other a long time. That's gonna give you some indications about who how they're gonna treat you eventually. It's easy for them to put on the front. You know what I'm saying? Play the role, but yeah, once that leverage is gone, once they got the leverage, kids, then that's when you see
either you stuck or you just gonna have to bite the bullet.
Yeah, you either stuck or you bite the bullet. And people always say it's cheaper to keep her. I'm like, nah, bro. Because proof of that shit is my man on TV last night slapping people on the stage.
Hey, you know what? This is the second time he been mentioned.
Because it's related.
Full context.
Yeah.
I told in our group chat, I said, I think we should lead in with the Will Smith discussion. And I was shot down immediately because it said, "Oh, it's gonna be dead in a day."
Let me give you some insight.
We're not gonna say who said that.
But you agreed.
When
you agreed. Did you not?
I did agree.
And was this today's Thursday, and they're still talking about it.
Yeah.
I agree with Gail. We're
not gonna say who said it. But I agree with Gail.
But the reason why I'm saying it, the reason why I said that is because I think like when you try, that's an example of forcing it through.
Yes.
What you saw last night, what we saw on that video, or whatever, that's an example of when you stick it out and you just stay in there and hang in there, whatever, and all it's about is happy wife, happy life, blah 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 blah. And then you hit a breaking point, the timing is off, boom. And so that's what I'm saying. That's, to me, that's not worth it.
I think that kind of speaks to, and this is just me pontificating at this point, but I think it speaks to what we talked about, right? Not being vulnerable. And I think part of being vulnerable is saying to the people, to our wife or, partner that I'm not cool with what you're doing.
There you go. Yep.
You're just holding it in.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, Chris Rock is not the person you should be throwing hands with. You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean,
I'm joking.
Shouldn't be throwing hands regardless. Period. Should have just walked off.
I have thoughts, and so just since we're on the subject, I think it was wrong for him to put his hands on him.
I agree,
100%. If you disagree with it, then you probably should have waited till you went backstage and did whatever you had to do. But also on the end of Chris Rock,
have you ever you've gotten Joan on to where you wanted to steal somebody though, right?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah, but I'm not famous. Gonna subtly walk up there.
Exactly.
And I'm also not famous.
And then you're gonna turn your back. If you do that and then turn your back, it's a wrap for you.
But so this is on the Chris Rock end. You probably should have thought about it before you said it.
Did he even write the joke?
He probably didn't write the joke.
That's not the first joke from Jada.
That was a mild joke. It wasn't even.
It was a very mild joke.
He damn near compared to the Captain Marvel. G.I. Jane, bro. Come on.
Bro, it's not, bro, he's a comedian.
Right.
Like that's his job.
Let me finish. But he also told a joke about her when she was trying to protest the Oscars because of the whitewashing, talking about something he wasn't invited anyway.
So what? She wasn't.
Read the room. I get that, but you gotta read the room.
No,
that was
man,
at that point.
That was what, 6 years ago?
That was like 5 or 6 years ago.
Come on, man.
We're dealing with emotion. You can't.
But you're also dealing with.
See, that's the thing. So I want to say that, right?
Go some neither.
Emotions are only important to you. Nobody give a fuck about your emotions.
Totally
He
understand.
I mean, no.
he literally had a joke about Will before he had a joke about Jada.
Right.
Will didn't have the problem about him.
Don't nobody care about your emotions.
Because it's Will.
And nobody.
Yeah, but Will's the one we're talking about that hit him.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think
He
he
could have
was
said what he said
misguided.
when he went back
See,
to his
but
seat.
I still think he was misguided in what he did.
No, I mean, if he just said what he said when he sat back down, it would have been fine.
That's exactly black him out. But it's like, damn, you made a joke about me not being invited, and now you want to throw it on me again. Sometimes you gotta just say, you know what, I'm gonna leave this one alone.
No, don't sit in the front
Well, I'm
row
not
at
gonna
the
put that on Chris
club.
for that.
Man.
Bro, he's only sitting in the front row because they knew he was gonna win Best Actor.
Right, that's true.
He wouldn't even sat there.
But he knew that too. He knew that too, and he decided to take that away from the Williams.
Can we talk about the most positive thing about this though? The poise that Chris Rock had in that entire evolution of events.
And he was so shocked.
The restriction, like, wow. Whether it was like even if he was scared, he was still.
I'll say, was it poise or business decision to not take off?
He saw money,
but he saw money. Whatever
he saw money. He's like,
that's what I think. That's the biggest thing to take away is, you saw the example of one man took the wrong action, and the other dude did not respond in kind, and he's winning because of it. He's gonna win because of it in a major way.
I just want to say I really didn't care about the whole thing. It was for me. It was a one-day thing that I thought was really shocking. But the only thing I really did care about was the form of the slap. Did y'all see the screenshot? It was perfect form though. He used his hip,
but
followed through the face.
So
it was
he was like, "I pledge of allegiance."
My reason for it was that's a big deal. Like I think we're not really understanding. Like that's like Jay-Z going up on the stage at the Grammy Awards and slapping Michael Jackson.
Chris Rock and
Michael Jackson.
No, I'm just saying. That's never happened.
That's like Jay-Z going to the Grammy Awards and slapping
Rick Ross or somebody.
Or Dame Dash even.
Slapping anybody. Just put a name on them. Anybody.
Slapping anybody, really.
Dude,
and
you
it being a real
that's
slap.
like
but he did it to the right one.
Awards. You win an Oscar, you're a made man or woman.
Unless you're Monique.
No, she still can make money. Her earning power, at the end of the day, she can always walk into any building and she will always be, her name will always be introduced as Oscar-winning actress Monique.
Who can't
she tried to get people. She tried to get people to boycott Netflix, and that was like the episode of Simpsons where Bart tried to get everybody to turn their desk around.
Yeah,
and then he walked into class as the only one that had the desk turned around.
But that's like that was ill-advised. But she still will always be regarded as an Oscar winner. That's like when you pass away, they'll put that on your headstone.
My major issue is everything is not for everybody as far as like sharing like personal details of your life. And that's my issue that I have with Jada, because there's rumors that she's going to do a red table and talk about this. And I'm just like, for what? Like,
that's the problem in the first place.
Like y'all need to be in therapy, like for real.
Hey, I think we've kind of deviated what we want to talk about.
Yeah, let's get back to the topic. I'm tired of talking about these two.
And I gotta sign off soon. So let's get back on topic so I can sign off.
Okay, so yeah, let's actually finish it off then.
Sorry about
that. So there's gonna be some, eligible bachelorettes that are gonna be watching this video.
Get him, Shabazz.
Maybe potentially jump into your DMs.
For you dark skin community.
And also, while we have the viewers on, before I ask this last question, we're gonna have a live next week, and we're gonna have some of the ladies. It's gonna be a group panel discussion, and this should be a good one. So we're gonna have people back and have that discussion. But I guess lastly, there's a lot of misconceptions that women have about us as men. So I want to give each person a minute to give the women out there advice about dating me, right? Like how to appeal to me as a black man, how to actually reach, get through the layers and really make an impact and so we can build together and not, go through all the crap, the toxicity, the fighting, the bashing back and forth. And it might be contrary to what might be the popular opinion, but share with the ladies, how to actually reach you and how to be an effective partner. And I'll start with Jig.
I don't know if there is you have to be this way or you need it. I mean, I think if you're just yourself, you know, I don't want to say, well, with me in general, a lot of people don't trust. And you can't sit up here and try to tell somebody, trust me, I'm one of the good ones, but you kind of just, I would say you go into things with an open mind. You try to think logically initially before you let emotions take over. Yeah, not everybody is super emotional, but just be open. Honesty is big, with me, and because you're at an age right now where it's like there's no point of lying. Like, what are you lying for, right? But just be open, be able to communicate, have fun. Don't be too, uptight. There's some people who don't think your stuff don't stink. People feel like they walk like they're better than people. There are people like that, and I'm not attracted to that. Like, just you try to be a beautiful person inside and outside. A lot of people are very attractive looking, but how they talk or the things that they say or do, or it's not appealing to certain age groups. I just be respectable. That's what I'll say. Like, respect yourself enough, and everything else I think will flow out from there. Be open to conversation, be open to trying new things and stuff like that. And I'm gonna try to do the same. Communicate and be consistent.
That sounds like the great closing speech of the job interview. Well done. Travis, you're muted.
Yeah, I gotta go next. I would say don't overcomplicate men. Men are very simple. Y'all are complicated. Always remember that. Men are very simple. I am not that much different than most men, right? Universally, we want the same basic things when we come home. We want the same basic things from a woman. Um, and I would say men receive love as respect and admiration. So if you're with a guy, if you don't admire him or respect him, he's probably not the one for you. Even though he checks some of the boxes, I would say just leave him alone because you're going to end up resenting him. So, men are
Okay.
big on respect. We move off respect, and we're simple. Don't overcomplicate it.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Shabazz.
Um, just to piggyback off that, I'll say keep it simple. There was a TikTok that went viral last week that a female friend showed me, and I was like, y'all didn't know this is it. And apparently, basically, it was there's 4 ways that to please a man. There's visually, and that's to always look good, so that he knows that he knows what he has at home. Um, there's vocally, showing respect, showing your admiration, showing that you care. Um, there's physically, don't hold back the physical aspects of the relationship, because if you start doing that, he may go somewhere else. And the 4th one was what was it? Acts of service and acts of service. So and when the video went viral and someone shared it with me, I was like, wait, is this a secret? I was like, don't. I was like, did people not know that this is what guys like? I mean, I thought that was fairly obvious, but apparently it's not common knowledge. We it does not take a lot to make simple men happy. And I'm not gonna say there's not complex men out there, because there's definitely some complex men out there, and there are definitely some men out there that are criers. I'm not one of them, so I won't speak to them. I won't speak on behalf of them. But if we're talking about specifically dating me, don't try too hard, and definitely don't try to hide who you are. I'm going to come at you and show you who I am immediately. I'm a clown. I joke around a lot. I should talk with the best of them, but I also, I care about the people I date about. And I don't need to find out 6 months down the line that the person I thought you were is not who you perceive to be. So keep it simple, and I reciprocate energy. So
that's a big one. That's a big one. Well said, Shabazz. Said, let's round it off with you. I want to give you a chance to speak.
Be patient with me. I'm a work in progress. I'm always trying to improve. I'm gonna meet you in the middle. And I'm simple, but I'm complicated at the same time because there's layers to me.
I told you there's some complicated men out there. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, we beat you too. Say no, but more so for me, this is just me. I'm a complicated person, but I'm also simple. I'm easy to get along with. And I'm still in this journey of learning myself and becoming a better version of myself. So I'm going to be difficult at times. I'm going to be stubborn at times. But if you invest in me, I'm going to invest in you. I'm always going to meet you in the middle, and we're going to always find a way, especially if that's, if this is something you want. And me now, as a 34-year-old, I'm seeing the world in a different light. And I've changed a lot of things. Not a lot, but I've changed things about myself that I thought that I was hiding from the world. So, I just tell women, be patient, especially if you know the guy's worth something. Don't be so quick to walk away, because sometimes you might be missing your blessing. That's it.
Oh, sorry guys. I appreciate that, Sid. There was one last thing I wanted to make sure I touched on real quick. You always hear the question, and we argued about this ad nauseum last week about what do you asking women, what do you bring to the table? What are your thoughts, on that question, first of all, and then how do you answer that question? If a woman asks you, like, what do you bring to the table? Real quick, and I want to be respectful of everyone's time.
Yeah. I'll go first because, like I said, I got to sign off soon. But I bring a person that's caring, who will always have your back, who currently is financially stable. I'm not, because you never know what the future's going to say, so I'm going to say currently.
They ain't going nowhere. You're safe.
Let's knock on wood there, buddy. Who puts a lot of energy into the person that thinks, who I think is worthy. So that's what I bring to the table. And there's more to come. I guess you could say I bring seeds to the table because, that's just the seeds, and I can grow from that. You can't top that, y'all, fellas. That boy good. That boy good.
Good.
Did you pull that from your Hinge profile?
Man, he been writing that shit since we started.
You must have pulled that from your Hinge profile.
Yeah, but you gotta make sure you're planting the right seeds.
Hey, listen, I only try to plant the right seeds.
Yeah.
I don't try to plant no other seeds. I promise.
Yeah,
Plant the wrong seed.
That's funny.
All right, Jay, go ahead real quick.
What I bring to the table?
Do you get offended when people ask you that? Like,
I don't think I've ever been asked what I bring to the table.
Me either.
That's why I find it. But I hear that people say that. A lot of the podcasts and things that's going on, a lot of guys have been asking females what they bring to the table, because I guess it's just known what guys bring to the table. It's like, the guys always saying, they always like the money they bring to the table. Like, what else do you really have besides that? You hear them talk about it, and a lot of them are, I don't want to say, they're like jerks that you hear talk about it when they talk about females, when they ask the female what they bring to the table. But a lot of the answers I see from the females aren't that great either. It's just like, I'm the table, I'm the desk, and it's like, all right, man. I don't need to be with I don't want to be with nobody.
I'm going to IKEA.
I'm the table. You bring out, it's like, all right. I think Martin had a little thing where he's like, you leave with what you came with, which was nothing. So but no, I mean stability, laughter, fun, good communication, stuff like that. I'm a believer in Christ, which I think is very important. So yeah, I'm at all, right? Right, Omar? Like they say about you. I'm planting seeds too, trying to grow a harvest. My seeds of positivity, seeds of blessings, seeds of prosperity, and seeds of love. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Okay, Pastor Jig.
Man,
Now
I feel bad.
are you a pastor like TDJ? What's his name?
Cleflo
TDJ.
Dollar, man.
I don't wear skinny jeans and a blazer.
Or are
Cleflo
you a
Dollar.
pastor? Are you a pastor
wrong
like that
dude to
dude
wear
that married a
skinny jeans.
housewife?
Oh no, I'd rather be TD on that.
Because God will supply. Go ahead, Travis. What are your thoughts? And
Well, you asked what I bring to the table, so it's a very personal question. So I'll say I cook. I'm a good cook. I realized that recently. When you have kids, you're gonna realize your talent that you never had. So I'm really good at cooking. I'm old school. I'm a traditional dude. So when something breaks, I fix it. And I know how to cook. Like I said before, I'm willing to get my hands dirty. I'm loyal. I'm reliable. I'm a fixer, and I got a decent career. I got a great career. That's what I bring to the table.
do you have?
And I'm not overweight, not too overweight, but I'm getting there. I'm old.
Everybody is overweight if you look at the scales.
Yeah, I need to lose. I need to drop like 20, 30.
So do you feel some type of way if a woman would ask you like, what do you bring to the table?
No, a woman should be very particular about who she gives her womb to. Absolutely, yeah, she should be very selective about that. Who she gonna give her best years of her life to? Absolutely, she should be. She should be very picky about that shit. Absolutely. I have no problem with that, asking that question. Yeah, I got a daughter. You damn right. You better choose right. Consequences suck if you fuck it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't get to recover. We get to recover. Now, ladies, it's much harder to recover if they make the wrong decision. So that's the reality of it. So yeah, they should be picky, but but like everybody else, they got to be able to afford what they want. You got to be able to work for it and earn it. So yeah, it's nothing wrong with asking that question. I think that question should be asked more. I think we need to put that out in the forefront about being realistic about relationships and marriage and life and legacy. I think we need to be honest about that for both men and women. Yeah, all it does is hold everybody accountable. That's all it does. And if somebody got a problem with accountability, they don't need to be making kids or being in a relationship. That's my opinion.
I hear you. Well, it sounds like that's a good way to end it. Appreciate everybody joining the live. Tune in next week. We'll set out a blast on the schedule. Thanks for all those who were in the comments and engaging with the chat. I just want to take a moment, thank Jig, Travis, and Shabazz. I almost call him Shabazz Napier, but Shabazz for joining. Appreciate the guests. Thank you for being vulnerable and open and talking about dating and your experience. And hopefully to those who were listening and then watching, you took something away. And hopefully, we can stop tearing each other down and build legacies out here. So Minority Minds out.